Hello, Moon to Moon. Welcome back. If you have listened before, welcome if you are new here. I'm excited to get into today's episode, which is a dark moon download here at the end of the lunar cycle that began with the new moon in Sagittarius. We're approaching a very exciting new moon in Capricorn on the 18th. So, as usual with the Dark Moon downloads, I am doing this with no notes. I have a bunch of cards all around me. I have candles lit. I am connected to my intuition and to my guides. And I do have my journal open off to the side with a couple of keywords that I may land on now and then. So if you're watching in the YouTube channel, you may see me mostly eyes closed, which is what I usually do for Dark Moon downloads. Yeah, I came across some really fun languaging in the last couple of weeks. I heard one of my guides. This is a ancestor guide that I've been more and more intimate with in just the last year. I heard the phrasing, speak with one eye closed, which I just love. And I often do. The students of emergence astrology know that very well. One of my favorite things about teaching emergence astrology is that it's so unapologetically mystical that I don't have any problem just closing my eyes on camera. um, but I've been playing with just dropping in deeper to practices that I already have, making more meaningful tweaks, little energetic adjustments to speak from deeper within, to be connected to my heart and let my heart feed my throat where the words come through. And it does feel very, very wise to think about closing an eye so that the words that we speak come from an inner place. They come from a you place, a me place, a specific heart frequency that we each have. Trusting in the paradox that on the one hand, we are all one collective body, and we are each as nodes contributing, making impacts into our environment with our voice. Voice being not just what we verbalize as utterances, but what we choose. Voice is our choices. The speaking and the not speaking, the showing up and the not showing up. We are always enacting our voice in the world through our choices. The great distortion is thinking that we don't have impacts with our choices. So much of my service and creativity is in support of helping to clear this distortion. Making choices can feel like one of the hardest things that we face as human beings. What should I do? What's the right choice? Making choices is so complicated because of shame. We often want to make the choice that will keep us safe from someone's judgment of that choice, including our own. We want to protect what we care about. We don't want to fuck it up. And I think that this terror, the terror of the shame of the wrong choice, is a real imagination killer. And that has real consequences on our experience personally, interpersonally, and collectively of our experience of reality on planet Earth in our timeline. So, something that's very alive for me to play with here with you today is what's been coming through for me regarding time, Capricorn, Saturn, and healing and repairing the shame based imagination. Many of you know that I am leading for a 4-day workshop this weekend, January 15th through 18th, though the replay will always be available inside of Living Emergence, my community homeworld. All the mystics making monies live there, in addition to many of my other core teachings. Mystics Making Money is a series of offerings that I'm dedicating to the planets and that I'm leading seasonally for at least 2 years to support intuitive human beings who want to step out into the world and exchange. You can read that extremely broadly. It doesn't have to mean money, but I do like money because it's so high sensation and it's so full of alchemical possibility for transformation, since there's so much wound projection and distortion inside of money, that I just think it's a site for great magic. And that's why I invoke that word very directly. So this time teaching workshop that I'm doing this weekend, Revolutions, Not Resolutions, is my most emergent transmission with these time teachings that I started back in 2018 for supporting people at the start of 2019. So I've been in this particular framework for a while. My guides recently showed me that each of my frameworks is like a rune, and that I can see the framework as like a rune in my bag that I can pull forward, and it's got this vast world for transformational and alchemical transmission to come through. And I return to this particular rune, shall we say, every year. And it's like I'm applying to it the very thing that I'm teaching. I reorient to it. Who are you? Who are you, these time teachings? And I sit with them and note where the energy is still really potent and zesty and important and high impact and like high spell when I tune into it. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, past self, for bringing those through. Those are some real jewels right there. Need them now more than ever. And then I also notice, like, but the thing is this. But what I really want to say is this. But what we really need now is this. And allowing the new words to form through me. Because here in 2026, we are not the same. I am not the same. The collective is not the same. The world is not the same. The last time these teachings rolled through my throat. So I collaborate with my past self. My past self and I are like in a deep, deep collaboration. Because, I mean, I'm coming to a treasure trove of things that have come through my various selves of the past. And I'm bringing something new here. And I know that I have permission from my past selves to rearrange, to edit, to sift it around. That my past self was always creating for my future self to know what to do next. That this teaching has never arrived at completion. That it is always shifting and showing us something new, ever new, for the moment that we're in. And likewise, so I know that whatever I come through with today, whatever comes through this workshop, when it's complete, there will be a future me who sits with it and collaborates with the me today to know precisely how to shape and shift the teachings appropriate to the time that we're living in. So, yeah, wow. I used to call these time teachings seeding the year, and many of y'all know that. You may have attended a past seeding the year or owned the old workbook I used to make. And about 2 years ago, revolutions, not resolutions, came forward, and increasingly that language was more resonant with me. Um, Even though I still really love the horticultural plant uh, plant language. It's just that the teachings used to be more specifically about intentions, and they've instead become like a larger, uh, it's like a larger scope, because I'm really interested in the intricacies of how the shame that we hold from the past infects how we see the future. And so in the present moment, a we're in this predicament of wanting to not be here. We're like wanting to get to a so-called present where we don't have to feel the shame that we feel now, which has everything to do with the past. And so just speaking to casting intentions out into the future wasn't enough for these teachings, because it needed to hold the whole of it, the strands, the fates. Because what is this action of casting out into the future if it's loaded down with all the ways that we think we're problems, and it becomes all about like just trying to be deserving, to be worthy of love. And at the end of the day, it just boils down to we're just trying to be safe, which is so noble and beautiful. And that's where the care wants to be, is really looking down underneath the protectors, underneath the managers, underneath the critics, underneath the disciplinary judges, the shame police. Back behind all those parts of us are the parts of us that are quite young and just want to feel safe to be here. You just want to do a good job and want to have a really good time. They want to play, but they were told that they needed to get their shit together. So, in really sitting with all of this in the workshop, I'm guiding you through the spells, the very magical questions, the somatic practices, the energetic tweaks, the adjustments to be with yourself, to be in a magical relationship to time, where you can collaborate with your past selves and be in the fullness of who you are now, with a bigger, brighter, more fantastical, more ridiculous, delusional, preposterous, and thus expansive imagination, hurtling us into this magical timeline that has impacts personally, interpersonally, and collectively. Hear me. My imagination deeply impacts you. Your imagination deeply impacts me. We are impacting each other with our imaginations and consequently with the limits of them. This isn't to shame us. We didn't choose to do this to ourselves. This situation, the shame-based imagination, is a consequence of systems. It's a consequence of trauma and intergenerational trauma. It's a consequence of the deep shame and despair of feeling separated from right relationship with the planet Earth and with the cosmos. There are so many things that we could point to that, I cannot underline enough in my classes and here that we are so innocent and it's our responsibility to repair. It's so essential to hold both, one in each hand. Like, can you hold in your hand the truth of your innocence and hold in the other hand that it's on you to repair from the shame-based imagination? And this brings me to Saturn because of the disciplinary shame police system that we've grown up in, many of us have a really frightening sense of Saturn. Astrology is regularly complicit in maintaining this sense of Saturn that for me is not inherent and it's false. I don't know where this false Saturn began. It was long ago. But I know in my bones that this is rhetoric, not truth. Rhetoric is in service to ideology, to worldview, and it has a lot to do with power. So who's going to dare to dream of a deeper Saturn? I say, why not me? Why not you? I know I'm not delusional because I actually do work with people all the time from the perspective of the Saturn that I speak. I've attracted so many human beings. Honestly, many of them came to me precisely because of how I talk about Saturn and this feeling deep, 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 deep within, knowing that it's true. We have to move through and recognize that we'll also have doubters and inner critics that are telling us not to be naive and that we need a disciplinary shame Saturn to be safe. But there were human beings living here before Hellenistic era, we have such deep, deep, deep relationships to the planets that are pre-writing. Like inviting in trust that There is evidence that exists in your blood. It may not be on in like a primary source document. You have parts of you made of your ancestors that have ways of relating to the planets beyond the verification of so and so writer from, 2nd century AD. CE? How do we say it now? And this is personal gnosis, so it's like personal gnosis is always going to be dangerous feeling when we've been raised in, a footnote culture. And of course, I love footnotes too. I'm from academia. I used to have the best time with my footnotes because it was so fun to like offer people this whole lineage of like, and then I read it here, and then I followed this information back here, and then I but to this and check out here, and like, I'd love to give people this like roadmap to like, if you like the sentence I just wrote, go read all of these people. It's amazing. I like paradox is everything. I love footnotes. I love like tracing, tracing like thought lineage. It's so fun. And I love just like laying this bare so that everyone has access. And in my mystical life, I've just become so much more empowered so I can also bring forward the other side of myself, this receptive side of myself that hears things, senses things, and it just feels so true. And this is where we really need sovereignty, because when we have something that's personal gnosis, all we can do is just offer it and say, this is what I found to be true. Take it or leave it. It's just like, take it or leave it. If it doesn't resonate, fine. I really love that about it, because the other side of me, I'm like feeling my right side. The other side of me is a part of me that is like tracing the lineage and like proof and evidence, and like, I learned this from this person who learned from this person who learned from this person, and there's the validity. There's the validity, right? So it's like, we can honor that one aspect, this like right side, kind of more what I would call masculine aspect of ourselves is really important. And on the other side, there's a kind of different verification process that it's very intuitive. And intuition is self-trust. Self-trust is what intuition is. So the more you drop deeper into your intuitive skill sets, which it's really, really, really helpful to have teachers with this, because it's such like an unknown world. But once you have skill sets, then you really can begin to hear yourself and follow the signs that are being given to you through that side that's like quite magical, and be able to move forward in your life from that side. Hmm. Yeah. So, repairing the shame-based imagination. Yeah. So, what I want to riff on a little bit is I pulled 4 cards for the workshop this weekend, which, if you're listening and it's already happened, as I said, you can come into Living Emergence to get them, or you can still buy it as a standalone offering. Because y'all know that I haven't fully prepared these talks yet. I One of the most healing things I've done with my relationship to time is I've healed my procrastination shame. Unshaming procrastination is part of my magical process. I don't like to waste my energy on needing to know something that I don't actually need to know yet. Um, I don't actually have to have that done yet. I like to slow build towards the like, all right, this is exactly what we're going to do, to like right before we're doing it. And I let the promo process itself like build me toward this like eruption. And the eruption is like, now I'm ready. And I go into like this super focus mode where it all just pours out and then we're done. I got my lesson plan, everything set. We know exactly what we're doing. And I've done this now so many times that it's just not a problem. um, Procrastination is very magical. It works as a magical practice when you have trust that everything is on its way. And the energy of worry or shame about how you haven't done something yet is like, it just really is such a massive waste of energy. And I'm really interested in not wasting energy. And we're going to do a whole segment on unshaming procrastination in the workshop. But I just pulled some cards to help me as I'm getting really close to getting super clear about what we're going to do over the 4 days. Because, see, every year I do it differently. Last year I did 3 days, 6 hours total. This year is 4 days, 8 hours total. The year before I did like one long 4-hour wild ride. And then a follow-up on shaming procrastination session. Every year I just like change it, and we get to find out how I want to do it. So the behind the scenes of my process is like, oh shit, I do have to make a course page though, even though I don't quite know what I'm going to do yet. And I kind of just have to feel in, and then I just see like, okay, I'm seeing 4 days, 2 hours each. Not not totally sure what we're doing in those 4 days, but I know it's gonna cover all my favorite stuff that I've previously put together, and it's gonna have a deep punch from what's coming through this year. And I'll just weave it. I'll just weave it. And so that's the case. So the 4 cards, okay. What I pulled just today for day 1 is Prince of Cups. So let me just sit into this, and I'm kind of like doing a live reading. And then guess what? I'm going to be printing out the transcript from this podcast episode, and whatever comes through right now is going to be helping me to create the lesson plans. Welcome to behind the scenes. That's always what these dark moon downloads are, is like me behind the scenes, helping you behind the scenes. If it feels good, keep listening. Okay. All right. Prince of Cups. Well, to me, this is like my central navigation card. If you are in living emergence, or you were in my first astrology class, charting your course, you know that I'm very inspired by the Vikings of my heritage and the ancient Hawaiians, the original Hawaiians, who found their way with the support of the stars and reading the waves and the wind. And just like really feeling into the magic and the intuitive skill set that had to have required, and how astrology can support us in this business of navigating being human beings with all of these feelings on planet Earth. And this is a water card. So many of the feelings that we have are mysterious. It's like we see the surface, we don't really fully understand what's going on, why we're in a mood and then not in a mood, why we're afraid, why we're triggered. Where is this coming from? That I, obstinately don't want to do this thing. There's so many mysteries from the water realms. And to me, the Prince of Cups is this part of us that learns to ride the waves, that rides the waves of being human beings with all these feelings, becoming skilled feelers. Skilled feelers is a phrase that came up when we started Crystal Ballers, my podcast with Natasha Levenger, who's a skilled feeler because she's like an extraordinary psychic energy reader and healer. And she's up to last week. I'm her client. I'm her paying client, full paying, because we have very sovereign relationship that way. And it's so magical what she can see. It's so magical what comes through the other side when we listen, when we open ourselves to listening. So to me, the Prince of Cups is a card that has a lot to do with the willingness, the courage. This is a Scorpio card in the Thoth deck. The courage, the bravery to go there. Most people are really not brave with their feelings. They don't know them. They don't be with them. They don't listen. Quick creates a lot of pain and violence in our world. In calling in a world of skilled feelership, dedicating my life to it. And so to me, coming into a relationship with a year ahead or any ahead, like for me, this workshop I'm doing, it's about the skill of being with any kind of bound future. A year is a bound cycle. A month is, a lunar cycle is, a season is, like Mercury cycle is. Like we have so many cycles that we can work with. A year ahead is a big one. And so what I'm teaching here is like a fractal for any kind of skill set building with working with time. And to me, this is why I do dark moon downloads. Being with the future is always going to begin with who am I today and where have I been? I talked about this on the last podcast. So, for sure, day one feels like it's going to be about these themes of navigating and skills and practices and ways to grow skill here, in a shame-based in a way that addresses how shame makes it so hard to be with the past because we're pathologizing it, we're critiquing it, we're judging it based on these metrics of who we have to be in order to be worthy. So to me, skilled feelership has so much to do with like, are you willing to recognize where you have a really loud inner critic? And are you open and available to the possibility that this part of you is not even really you? It's an internalized police that you got from the outside, and it's not even you. It's certainly not how you talk to yourself at a soul level. So, day 2, 10 of Cups. Yeah, this feels like what I'm hearing is marking the moment. The 10 of Cups to me is very emergent. Um, it's associated with Mars and Pisces. And it's yeah, it to me there's something about it that is like the heart dilates and you really understand like what you have, what you love, what you care about, what's meaningful to you. And there's a kind of bravery that comes through this frequency of being willing to show up for what you most care about in this kind of like very ferocious way of love. And Mars to me is a part of us that's very connected to present time. In the workshop, I'll be teaching the different time secrets of the planets and how they can help us each relate to time differently depending on what we're attuning to. And 10 of Cups feels very connected to the present moment. And this is threatening. This is a very threatening part of yourself. I'll tell you why. Because what might be emerging for you in the moment may not have anything to do with the big plan that you have. Like we've created a plan, like this is the plan. This is the plan. But when you really listen, this thing's coming through and like it is just here. It is so real. And it's maybe gonna be a challenge to the ego driven plan. It may be in direct paradox, which is not a problem, but I think that this is why I honestly think most humans, certainly I've known this in myself, like really numb to this one. We numb to 10 of Cups because we don't know how to hold this frequency in the face of all the scarcity that we've been conditioned into. There, I said it. Day 3, so day 2 will have all of the teachings and practices and spells for that. Day 4, Fortune, Wheel of Fortune, which is the year that we have. What do we have? We have 2026. 6 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10. Fortune. Oh, but we do, but we do. The time is always turning. We don't know what's next in the story. Is it good luck or is it bad luck? Who's to say? I just saw this Miles Davis quote that was like, if you hit the wrong note, like it's only wrong according to the note you play next, or something like that. And I just thought that was so amazing. Because, like, oops, I didn't mean to hit this note, but then you can respond, like you can just respond to the oops and make something new from it and like go someplace with that. That to me is so Wheel of Fortune. Um, when I've been working in intimacy with this card, it did not mean everything went according to my plans. In fact, it was the opposite. It was like, you better learn the skill sets for being with your life no matter what happens, and staying with yourself no matter what happens, and being compassionate and loving to yourself no matter what happens. If you want to keep going in this ride of aliveness. So, maybe day 3, what I'll do is like really sit with the Wheel of Fortune that day, since it is the card of the year. And there's just so much to say about it. I mean, we sit inside a wheel of a year. We sit inside of a circle. The zodiac is a circle. Cycles are circles. Like, that's feeling really like a yummy invitation, and it will probably create a lot of new language for me. Welcome to my process. Um, and I think that there's a lot there to address. The importance of not pre-imagining the worst, like from the present moment, whatever note you just found yourself playing, it's up to us what note we play next, and if our imagination is heavily shame based, which we've been conditioned to have, everything's going to be about solving problems and not actually that expansive and not super musical. So this seems like a great place to put some of these new teachings that have been coming through me on really embodying the future now by repairing our imaginations. What we long for is a post-scarcity world. This is language that's been coming through. And I think a lot of humans are like waiting for some kind of collapse scenario before they can really begin imagining or begin showing up to their dreams, because it's like, well, why should I even try when everything is going to collapse? And um I understand that can feel like the only way to have hope. But I think that we're disempowering ourselves because we don't understand what collapse even is. We don't know what it will look like. We don't know if it's already happened. Like, we don't know where we are in the timeline of this and what the conditions are going to be in the future. We don't know. But we can be actively dreaming that now. And we hold it all within ourselves. It's not real unless we act from it. Unless we act from it, it's just a fantasy. And I love fantasy. But what I really love is showing up to the dream that I see now. And it just feels so much better to not be waiting around. Agency returns, authority returns. And if that feels so good. So if we technically do not have post scarcity in our economic system, in our government system today, we fucking don't. We obviously know this. But how can we actually weave it into our bodies, like repair our bodies to be in this kind of post scarcity? What does that even mean? Feel it into yourself. What does post scarcity feel like in your body? What would your body feel like? What happens to your imagination when you move from that place? This is what we're going to be engaging with in day 3. And day 4, 8 of Wands, Mercury and Sagittarius, a favorite. I get this a lot with my work. This feels like navigating. The divination has been done. The navigating, my intentions are out there, my goals are out there, I'm showing up, like it's all happening. And how do you hold yourself through the navigating of trust that, like, it's all moving with you? The universe is moving with you, and you don't need to stand over everything and control everything constantly. Like, what is the trust frequency required to truly be in 8 of Wands with your audacious goals and dreams and intentions in real time, in your body, on planet Earth, in 2026, in your ecosystem? Like, let's talk about it. What are the skills needed? What are the practices? How can you stay with yourself? How can you stay with your imagination once you've gotten it going and you're watching, what you've put out into the world begin to move the ecosystem around? What kinds of things come up for you that are hard? Well, there you have it. That's the outline. That is my process. Do you trust in the tarot or do you not trust in the tarot? Um, yeah, speaking with one eye closed is in part just pulling cards and letting them talk through you, and then you know what you're doing. I have been like daydreaming about teaching the tarot more, like doing a project with the tarot, but I don't know about y'all. Last week's Capricorn Kazemi magic was like so intense. I got so many downloads. There are so many beings that want me to steward them into form as classes, as events, as projects, as collaborations, as books, as workbooks, that I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Like I have a whole lot of mouths to feed. I've joked in my community that I see my ideas as like spaceships that just like crashed into my yard, and little beings come out and they're like, "Hi, can we live here with you?" And it's like, "Okay, tell me what you want. Let's collaborate." So I can't feed them all at once. A lot of really exciting things ahead for this year. Something that I'm going to be announcing probably Friday is I have a brand new group coaching container. It's going to be very, very intimate, high intensity, and it's inspired by the 9 boredoms of the rightful baddie curriculum that came forward, but completely updated and emergent to supporting leaders and becoming more potent in their leadership. And like really it's going to be about making friends with and embodying the malefic parts of you, Saturn and Mars in particular, but the sun too, because these are the parts of you that help you become specific and contained with potent contracts, potent thresholds, clear doorways, and that really protect your benefic nature so that it can just do what it does, which is to reach out and connect and nourish and make dream, make abundance. But a lot of us are kind of terrified of our malefic side, our villain era, as people say. I don't even know if I like that phrasing, but you know what I mean. I mean, Maleficent is pretty fabulous. And it's really inspired for people like my younger self who are like, I really see this as related to me circa 2021. The first time I invested big in a group coaching space, and then my income grew so much that I was able to quit my teaching gig at the university and just go full time with my business because it was like such a wild leap that and I just knew that what I needed was more trust and like more stakes, more pressure to kind of like get on that trampoline and leap. And that's what this is. It's a magical container for taking a leap of trust. So you're going to need a leap because we're going into intensity here where we're like really connecting you to your malefic nature, and you're going to need trust in me and in yourself and in this container and in the group to like take yourself there so that on the other side of this, like, whoa, when things get potent like that, it causes huge ripples in your world. And so you're coming in because you're ready for like these huge ripples, and you already know how to trust yourself to build this gig because you've already built it into something that feels good. But you know it could be more potent, and you want support with the fear because it's kind of frightening to behold yourself when your malefic nature takes up more space. And a lot of that is a maturation process because Saturn helps you mature. And then it's an audacity process because Mars is helping you with the audacity. And yeah, that's just really supported me my whole journey of being a big old Pisces, conditioned in a femme body in the South, just really kind of terrified of those edges and terrified of how people will think about that. So those are the things that I've moved through to get louder because ultimately I love the spirit of my work and I love my guides more than I care about what anybody thinks about what I have to say. And so like a lot of the malefic nature helps you have a boundary around that to make it sacred so that you can't be touched inside of that boundary. And that allows you to always feel safe no matter what audacious move you're up to next. In the face of judgment and being projected on, which is part of leadership. It's the scary part of leadership, which is why many people don't want to be seen in their leadership. Because there's a lot about projection that is really not fun because it is quite dehumanizing. Since as of today, we still have projection because we haven't grown into the skilled feeler society that I'm dreaming for us. We will be the ones with the skilled feelership to protect ourselves from being taken down by the despair of being projected upon so that we can stay with our voice. So if you are feeling attracted to that, please stay tuned. I'm going to be announcing it soon. We're going to start at the end of January through early June. All right. Wherever you are in the world, I'm wishing you a big hug from the universe. Happy dark moon. I hope that your new moon is beautiful and bright. And thanks for being here. If you love being here and you enjoy this podcast, I hope you will share it, rate it, or review it to help other people find their way here too. Thank you so much. Hope to see you at the workshop this weekend. And take care.